Good morning. Good morning. Happy Wednesday. Happy Wellness Wednesday. I still have not conquered this thing where when I try to do my Facebook Live, it zooms my face in really, really close, closer than that. And then I have to restart it and start over. In any case, if you ever see me on here with my face up really close, you'll know what happened. If you are just stumbling on my page, my name is Donna. I'm a mom. I'm a nana. I'm a girlfriend, jazzerciser, line dancer, runner. I'm studying for my Master of Science in Clinical Mental Health Counseling, and I am also the program director for my local affiliate of the National Alliance on Mental Illness, which is NAMI. If you have been following me for a while, I hope you liked last week's video about the seasons of you and why every season of you is important and important to shaping the way who you are and the way you are now, whether you liked that season or not. And just real quick, I want to give a real quick YouTube update in case you missed last week. I have officially uploaded all previous videos to YouTube. So my YouTube channel is live and in color. It was probably in color anyway. In any case, they're all up there. So if I make a reference to an older video, I can drop that link in the comments because Facebook stopped keeping live videos for longer than 30 days. So if I make a reference to a video that's more than 30 days old, I'm going to drop that link from the YouTube channel in the comments. And if you are one of those that sees me in the morning and has to shut your phone because you're like, I don't have time to listen to her, you can find those videos. They're on Facebook for 30 days. And then you can find them on YouTube. I am now officially uploading on the same day as the video is posted, so you won't fall behind at all. I just encourage you. YouTube apparently is a lot like other social media platforms. The more you comment, ask questions, like, and interact, the more likely those videos are to be seen. So, but the cool thing about YouTube is now if you want to share a video with somebody, you can copy that link from YouTube and share it in their messenger, by text, whatever. And then that way, you don't have to necessarily be tagging them or calling them out, especially if it's somebody that's not on Facebook. Okay, so that's my YouTube update. And I think the handle is just at Donna Bidlack. So if you search Donna Bidlack on YouTube, you should find my channel. You should see a profile face that's similar to my Facebook one pop up. Red hair, me smiling, pretty much the same as always. So that's it for YouTube. All right, so this cooler weather where I live has me in mind of the time change. So now that the weather is cooling off a little bit, and I am so grateful, and the clocks are about to play mind games again, I wanted to talk about something I call the Great Reset. Little bit of nostalgia here. Charlie Brown had his Great Pumpkin. Hopefully you got those Charlie Brown vibes from my teaser graphic that had the pumpkin clock in the background. He had his Great Pumpkin. I have my Great Reset. Both involve a little bit of faith. Both involve a little bit of waiting. And both involve a lot of hoping that something magical happens. Okay? So you're probably thinking right now, Donna, what are you talking about? All right, so let's talk about this. I always try to use the fall time change as an opportunity. I forgot to say, if you're here, let me know you're here. If I don't see this till after, hit hashtag replay in the comments, drop a comment, answer my challenge, ask a question, whatever. Good morning, Greg and Darla. So I always try to use the fall time change as a reset opportunity. And yes, it is coming, the first weekend in November 1st overnight or November 2nd overnight. Can't ever exactly. I think it's overnight on the 1st, technically the 2nd. In any case, I always try to use the fall time change as a reset opportunity. Snooze and I, we get to be in a long-term relationship. Usually that starts around winter, when the bed is really comfy and warm and the windows are open and it's cold outside and I just want to stay there. But sometimes Snooze and I get in these longer-term relationships, and I develop this problem where the bed feels too comfy and snooze tag is fun. Not really, and Eric doesn't think so either. And then when we fall back, what happens is my body naturally wants to get up at 6 or 7, but it's really 5 or 6 because now we've changed the clocks. And honestly, 5:30 is my goal wake up time every morning. And I'm going to be honest with you. A lot of times, I do wake up at 5:15, 5:25, right before the alarm goes off. And then I either get up and go to the bathroom and climb back in bed. That's where I make my mistake. Or I hit the snooze button because I'm not quite ready. So my body is ready to wake up right before 5:30. But I play mind games with myself. I play games with the snooze tag. I give myself 80 billion excuses why I don't need to get up just yet. Just another 10 minutes, just another 15 minutes. And it becomes a huge wake up fail, right? Next thing I know, I'm waking up an hour later, half an hour later than I really wanted to, and I'm running behind. And then it kind of sets the tone for my day, and it's not a great one, right? So basically what it means in the fall is it's easier to get up when the alarm goes off instead of hitting snooze, because our body thinks it's time to get up anyway, because our clock says it's earlier, but our body says, no, it's still our normal wake up time. So there's an opportunity here to harness, to do something a little different. Also, I don't experience the same jet lag feeling with fall back as I do with spring forward, unless you count the fact that sometimes during the fall back time change, I'm ready to go to sleep on the couch at 8 o'clock. But it does mean that it's easier to go to bed when Eric is ready, because we don't require the same number of hours of sleep at all, not even close. And again, it's easier to get up in the morning. So we don't really get an hour back every day. We all talk about, and I've been doing it for years, I get my hour back today, I get my hour back. It is an hour. It's not a daily hour. It's 1 hour, sort of. I'm not even convinced it's a real hour, that it's not something that we've materialized in our head. So we don't really get an hour back daily. It's really just 1 hour that we get. And we tend, whatever it is we think, whatever it is we tell ourselves, we tend to think and we tend to use that extra hour for sleeping, doom scrolling, whatever, more time on Facebook, more time on TikTok, whatever, when it's actually a rare opportunity to retrain our clock. So we can use it as an opportunity to start a new habit, because the effects last longer than a day. Even though that hour is only 1 and is for a day, the effects of gaining of that time change can last longer when we harnessed it. So as the days get shorter and darker, many of us also experience dips in energy, mood, motivation. Sometimes it's serious enough to fit the seasonal affective disorder criteria. And other times it's not quite there. It's just that shift in knowing what time of day it is, because it's getting darker earlier. It's, you know, whatever the case may be. And the time change actually shifts our internal clock, which impacts our sleep, our appetite, and our focus. So instead of fighting it, what if we used it? What if we align with it instead of against it, and let our natural rhythm set a tone for better winter wellness? And just in case you're wondering, yes, even in the southern states, even in Florida, seasonal affective disorder is a real thing. It can sometimes be as bad as it is up north, because while we get more sunshine, the time change, different things going on keeps us from getting outside and getting that fresh air, getting that sunlight. And yes, seasonal affective disorder can have an impact on us in the South as well. So here's some nerd facts on why using this as a reset works, okay? Your body clock runs on light, not caffeine, like we actually believe it does. Sunlight exposure in the morning helps to reset circadian rhythm and boost serotonin, which improve mood and energy levels. I'm here to tell you that's absolutely true. When we set the clock back, our body still wakes up at the same time. So biology, good morning, Miss Carla, biology is already on our side. And research shows that anchoring one new habit, like morning stretching, journaling, prayer, or sunlight, or with that hour of sunlight, increases your chances of maintaining it long term by like 70%. That's crazy, right? So there's some science behind this. So routine equals mood regulation. That's another thing that research shows. Routine equals mood regulation. We've kind of touched on this before. Stable sleep and stable wake times reduce stress hormones, which improves emotional balance, which means we're not standing in the seasonal candle aisle crying. Maybe we are, might depend on whether we're in menopause or not, or there's a candle scent that really brought back a memory. But for the most part, generally improved emotional balance means we're not standing in the candle aisle crying. And again, very super important for seasonal affective disorder and the related mood dips that come with that. So how do we do this? Well, there's like 4 components here. Let's talk about the sleep reset. We can maximize the sleep reset by going to bed and waking up at the same time every day. And on weekends too. I think I drive Eric a little bit nuts because this guy needs like 9 to 12 hours of sleep a day. Your girl needs between 7 and 8. So if I go to bed at the same time he does, I'm like, come 5, 6 o'clock in the morning, I'm like, woo, let's go. If he falls asleep in the chair and I stay up later, I'm more apt to be able to stay in bed as long as he does, but it's still iffy. We just do not require the same amounts of sleep. So I tend to be a sleep regulator because I know this about myself, and I know that if I sleep too long, sometimes that has just as much negative impact on me as not getting enough sleep. And I think I've touched on this before too. So I know I need 7 to 8 hours of sleep. So I tend to set the alarm for that 8-hour mark out, no matter what time I go to bed, to make sure that I don't sleep past that point. Because a lot of times what I end up with is sleep inertia and brain fog, and I'm moving like Frankenstein for half the day after I've gotten up because I've had too much sleep. So go to bed and wake up at the same time every day. Limit screen time to 30 to 60 minutes so that you're not on it 30 to 60 minutes before bed. I was about to say that way wrong. And try reading or journaling instead of being on the screen. That's watching TV, doom scrolling, whatever. And use soft lighting in the evening to cue your body that it's time to reset. So a morning reset, which is more of a habit reset, I would call it. The way you can do it is to expose yourself to sunlight within 30 minutes. Now, if you're getting up way before the sun rises, that's kind of hard, right? But you can still do it. You can get a light therapy box, which are very common anymore. Make sure that you do your research and that you're getting a light therapy box that is for mood versus a grow light, which is for growing plants, because they're different UVB and UV rays. And they're not going to do the same thing. And they're probably, if it's a grow light, it's probably not going to grow you either. Just for the record, I've tried, I'm 5'3", I'm not getting any taller. So you can, if you can't expose yourself to sunlight within 30 minutes after waking up because of the time change or because of whatever time you get up or whatever the case may be, you can use a daylight or light therapy lamp to do that job. And you, in the process, you also take that time to move your body, stretch, walk, dance, use your extra hour for writing down your goals and affirmations, planning, praying, journaling, meditation, whatever. This is your time. You can take that hour as your time, especially if it's early in the morning and nobody else is up. And basically, you're using that time to fill your cup, whatever that looks like for you, which is a great way to start the day. And that leads into the next thing, which is your mindset shift. So shorter days create emotional slumps for all the reasons that we just talked about. We can use that hour to focus on presence over productivity. So again, some of the things that I just mentioned, but we can also use it to identify things that drain us so that we can drop those things. We can use that time to identify things that restore us, like the journaling, the prayer, the meditation, whatever the case may be, and that we can add those. And we can use that time to build rituals, if you will. And I'm not a fan of the word ritual because it gets used in such a negative context all of the time. But we can build rituals like using candles and having a nice warm drink and lighting a candle in the morning, or lighting your light therapy box. Listening to a little soft music, maybe a little peppy music. Maybe you're like me and you have a shower playlist that gets you going. and any of those things that get your nervous system to associate that first hour with calm and presence instead of the chaos that is sometimes associated with hitting the snooze button and then going, holy crap, I overslept. I gotta go. I gotta this. I gotta that. And now you're freaking out and it sets the tone for your whole day. Like I just talked about when I was getting started. So here's another thing. Gratitude. And I talk about gratitude. You guys know gratitude is one of my favorite things. And I've got something to add to it now. So gratitude before you get up is recommended by a lot of, life coaches, business coaches, personal coaches, whatever you want to call it. Gratitude before you get up is recommended. Now, you can take that a lot of different ways. I am really, really good at being grateful. I have my gratitude box. Yes, I still have it. I've talked about it before. It's almost full because we're getting close to the end of the year. I have my gratitude box. I try to find something every single day to put in this gratitude box. I am really great at praying either before I get out of bed or very shortly after I get out of bed. And I'm basically talking to God all day. That's my faith. If that's not what works for you, that's okay. But one thing that I never did was actually lay in bed before I got up and list, like is often recommended, even though I've prayed to God and I've prayed for some of the, thankfulness for some of what he's provided. One thing I've never done is laid in bed and been like, okay, the 3 things I'm grateful for today are, okay? I started doing that about a month and a half ago. I still pray. I still do all the other things. There's room for all of that in my life, especially when it comes to gratitude. Good morning, Dawn. But what I have been doing for the last month or so is laying in bed and naming specifically 3 things that I'm grateful for. Now, it sometimes gets funny. I'm not going to lie. Sometimes it's like I'm so grateful for this man laying next to me, especially when he's not snoring. You know what I mean? And then I start giggling. But here's the point, that even with all the prayer that I do and all the gratitude exercises that I do, naming these 3 things that I'm grateful for before I get out of bed, and they're different every morning. It's not a repetition like a mantra thing. It's not I'm grateful for my life. I'm grateful for my health. It's not like that. It's finding 3 specific things that first come to mind that I'm grateful for in the morning. And y'all, when I do that, I am jumping out of bed with a smile on my face. So regardless of anything else I was doing, this naming 3 specific things that I'm grateful for before I get up from my pillow and my feet hit the floor, it is a game changer. And it is working for me, and it's filling my morning with a different type of energy. So whatever your beliefs are, whether you are a prayer, whether you are a meditator, whatever they are, just try it. Before you pick up your phone, after you hit the snooze alarm or turn the alarm off, whatever, just lay there and consciously name 3 things, 3 specific things that you are grateful for, and don't turn it into a repetitious thing where it becomes a habit and you're not actually paying attention to the grateful part. Find 3 unique things every morning. Sometimes they're going to be the same, let's face it, but find 3 unique things in the morning that you are grateful for and name them in your head, out loud, whatever, and see what kind of a difference it makes. I'm really curious because it's really been working for me. I'm like, why not? I try everything else. Let's give it a try. And, and part of me was like, I'm already pretty stinking grateful. Do I really need to take this extra step? Y'all, take the extra step. I'm telling you. So, that's part of the mindset reset. So now how do we do an environmental reset that helps us with the sleep and the mindset and the morning? Well, we can adjust our lighting. We can open blinds during the day for that warm daylight, or for that awesome daylight. And especially now that it's cooler and we don't have the Florida sun necessarily beating as hard. If you're in Florida or in the southern states, in the window, you can open the blind. Even if you just tilt it a little bit to keep the sun out, but where you're still getting that daylight, it makes a huge difference. A lot of this, we spend a lot of time in artificial light that's really not that great for us, and it really kind of screws up our circadian rhythms and all of that natural stuff. So open the blinds during the day. Use a warm light at night. In the fall, especially with temperatures cooling off, think cozy. Use blankets, plants, create a calm space. I've talked about my closet before. One of these days, I'm going to go live from my closet. It's a little cleaner today, so it may be coming soon. I'm going to go live from my closet so that you can see what I'm talking about, because I've talked about it so many times. Create a space that is calm, whether it's at your desk with plants around, whether it's outside. Create a space that's calm for you, that you can spend a little bit of time in that extra hour in the morning that you're harnessing. And then, again, declutter one thing before the winter decor starts creeping in. I'll drop that link. I talked about that 2 weeks ago, about decluttering before the holiday chaos. So maybe you can get some tips from there. But this way, these are tips on how you can do a sleep reset, how you can do a morning reset, how you can do a mindset reset, and how you can do an environmental reset. And they all can feed off of each other in a bit of a synergy. So again, the time change doesn't have to be a setback. I find that most people don't experience the same level as jet lag, kind of like I don't, as we do with the spring forward. And we can take advantage of this time to start a new habit, anchor a new habit, just something different, while we have this short opportunity of a week or two before our body's like, oh, just kidding, it's not really 7 o'clock, it's really 6, I'm not getting up yet. And you know what I mean? That's a mind game we play with ourselves. So my challenge to you is to decide how you're going to use that extra hour, and make sure that you have the tools ready. So any of the things we just talked about, whether you're going to try to reset your sleep pattern, whether you're just going to try to do that morning reset and harness that time, to start getting up an hour earlier and doing something with that time that you can't do the rest of the day. A mindset reset, try the gratitude thing in the morning before you get out of bed. All of those things, I challenge you to pick one thing that you are going to try to do at fall back. We're like 2 weeks out, 3 weeks out. When we fall back, to start harnessing that extra hour, of course, being relative. So that's my challenge to you. You can drop what you're going to do in the comments once you figure it out. You can shoot me a message. You can comment on YouTube, whatever works for you. But I would love to know how you think you can use that extra hour, and use it to harness a good anchored habit going forward. So that's my challenge to you today. And I want you to remember, the seasonal shift is not a setback. It doesn't have to be. It is a natural opportunity to reset our bodies, reset our habits, and reset our brains if we choose to harness it. Your rhythm is already changing, so let's meet it where it is. This is a great time. The timing is perfect. We always talk about waiting till the New Year's resolution, New Year clean slate. This time change is kind of a clean slate too, but it's a time that also harnesses our natural rhythm to help us with that reset, with that clean slate. So it is a great opportunity. Good morning, Miss Dawn, if I didn't say that already, Miss Carla. So again, remember, the seasonal shift does not have to be a setback. It is a natural opportunity to reset your body, your habits, your mindset, all of it. Meet it where it is. And if you found this helpful, please share. Please share, like I said, like, comment, whatever. And maybe others will see it that find it helpful as well. So I hope you enjoyed that today. Usually I put a note about what I'm going to talk about next week, but I didn't. So right now it's not at the forefront of my brain. I will drop a link to the video about decluttering before the holiday chaos, because you still have time. It's not the holiday season quite yet. I'll drop that in the comments along with the link to my YouTube channel if you haven't found it yet. That's all I have for today. I hope you found it helpful. I hope you have a fabulous Wednesday. I will see you next week. And until then, be well. Bye.